Resilience Radio. Believe it.
Good morning, each and every one. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Lunchtime Inside Straight Talk and Motivation. We're coming your way live out of Atlanta, Georgia. And we've got Mr. Kerwin Boxill with us, and we have a very special, this is a delightful moment because it's filled with such history and such power. And we're going to have a conversation with Kerwin about his book, The Discipline of Emotion, Feel Less, Achieve More. Now, over the last 30 years or 40 years, even more actually, a lot of people would hear me say, when they ask me a question, Arby, what's going on with you? And I would say, I'm having an emotional moment. Indecision, decision, every single thing that's linked to us requires emotion, whether we like it or not. And that's very interesting because whether you like it or not is also an emotion. But I'm going to talk to you today because what brought Kerwin into my life is a young man who has recently been deceased for a couple of years. And you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And you can mention his name later because an act of emotion and respect, which is coupled with emotion, brought Kerwin into my life. That's why I'm saying to you, this person and his book talked about love. He was a poet, Glendon Arthur, and I met him through an emotional moment. Every single thing in my life is about an emotional moment. And here we are a few years later talking to the one man who wrote the book, The Discipline of Emotion. Hey, here we go. Right? This is the book right here in front of your face. I can't even hide from it. I can't. Sometimes you want to stand behind the emotion. Sometimes you want to get it in front of it, but it makes or breaks us in every single thing we do. Welcome to our show, Kerwin. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you, Aubrey. It's been a journey,
Yeah.
And the emotions, like you said, they play a very important role in every single aspect of whatever we do. Every day we have a decision to make, and those emotions, they influence every single decision. And like you say, whether we like it or not, which is also the emotion. You make me laugh just now.
It's true, man. But one of the things that I like about opening the book and reading it is when it goes pow, right?
Yeah.
And dedication page really hit me. And I'm like, okay, my brother is on the way. The other side of the conversation is we never met in person until when was it? Last year?
It was last year, I think July.
And yeah, July. And I hope to see you this year in August, hopefully,
I'll be
right?
there though.
And a lot of what pushed my life is all about going beyond the emotion into the practicality and the strategic management of my own life and helping other people to do what they do, and hence the birth of Straight Talk and Motivation. Because you got to work beyond how you feel, and every part of your life is about an emotion. So tell us, what inspired you to want to write this book?
Wow.
Let's start there.
Okay, so this book was born from pain, you know, not from in a classroom, not from a seminar, not even from theory, because, you know, it came from my real life. Things that I've been through, I've experienced betrayal, financial losses, broken promises, professional setbacks, legal battles, and there are moments when I had every reason to be bitter, you know. And what I realized was that my greatest victories didn't come when the circumstance changed. It came when I changed. It wasn't about what's happening around me or what other people has done or what they're doing, but it's about what I did and what I had to do and my input and the way how I responded to situations rather than make a judgment in a few seconds, And you'll notice me talk about, all throughout the book, the pause. That pause where, pause is an acronym, you know, And in that acronym, it says pause, assess, understand, select, and then execute. So, I mean, I really want to get this book into prisons. I want to get it into schools, and I want to get it into like workplaces, because that's where all the conflicts happen in every single aspect of our lives. And the book was written because I saw too many people losing opportunities, and it's not because they don't have the talent, because there are lots of talented people out there, and there are other things that can be taught, but they lack the emotional control, which is very, very important. That emotional control, that pause, that's the key, and that's why the book basically is a roadmap for people to start reacting and start responding better.
Listen, you have to do some seminars for real. I mean, let me just say this. The one thing that I love about what I do is the ability to listen and learn. And as I listen and learn, because in my book, I always say there's only so much truth in the universe. And we do things repetitively every day. But the one thing that does not happen every day is that you have a situation where it's happening to you, another person, and each person is a different product or brand. You know what I mean? And when that happens, that's a whole different experience. So this is an experiential journey that I'm hearing you talk about, because you're saying it's not a textbook approach. It's an experiential journey as a part of your life. And I love that, because as I'm listening to you, I'm ready to take notes. I'm real serious. And I'm going to say to people, again, like I said earlier, when you pick up a book and you're reading it and it does nothing for you, let me tell you something. That's not going to happen with this book. And it's like a never-ending story, because I can't sit with to have a cup of coffee. I even ordered some cake and stuff, and I don't usually have coffee and cake,
Oh,
But I said, well, this is pretty good.
cake is good with coffee.
Cake is good with coffee. So, what do you think a person that picks up this book, and what do you also get for it? Let's talk about self and others for a minute. A person that buys this book, what can they expect to receive from this book?
First, they should expect to be challenged, because it cuts deep. There's a guy here in Cayman. He's a police officer, and he got a copy. So I asked him for feedback. He said, Kerwin, everybody cannot read this book because it goes straight to the neck. It cuts straight to the point. It goes to the jugular, and everybody is not ready for that. And I was like, good, because you know what? After reading this book, you're supposed to start the metamorphosis. You're supposed to change. You're supposed to start the process of, getting better and, making better decisions, not just in relationships, but finance and every single aspect of your life. That change starts from there. So, yeah, anyone that picks up the book, prepare to be challenged, because it's straight and direct.
I love that,
Yeah.
I have to say, enthusiasm is God within you. And as I'm listening to you, I have a lot of respect for you. Because one of the things I noticed about you is you talk the talk, but you do something that is very dangerous that a lot of people don't want to do.
Wow.
You walk the walk. Okay. And let me just read a little bit here. Okay. See? I'm holding it up. Right. I got excited when Amazon showed up. You see the little picky dude there, and you're doing your thing. Okay. To the people who feel deeply but are leaning or learning to lead with strength. To those who have ever said, I know better, but I still reacted. Oh my God. That hit me in the face. Especially when I was in front of a judge once.
But right? So even me till today, even though I write this, I breathe it, I try to live it 100%, it still doesn't happen. It's a journey.
The journey.
You know, when I told one of my friends in Barbados about this, he said, feel less, achieve more. But Kerwin, you telling people not to feel the emotions? I'm like, no, the emotions are there, they're real. But what I'm inspiring people to do is to not act upon those emotions, you know? And I don't think he got it yet. I don't think he understood it yet at this point. But
Yeah.
at some point he will.
I think I got a little taste of it when we were talking about capitalism. People ask me, Arby, why did you come to America? And I came to America because there was a big slogan. I love quotes, as you all know. And quote notes, one of those quotes said, "In God we trust," for America. And I stopped and I said, it was an emotional moment. Again, we don't really look at blasting off inside of emotional moments, but we do, you know?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm going to go here and I'm going to discover what does America have that we don't have or that we think we don't, because I've never heard anybody else say, "In God we trust." So I show up inside of a conversation that is very suggestive in terms of emotion, because America has a lot of emotion going on in this country. And 250 or over 250 years of experiential education and empowerment that people come here to achieve, it's all wrapped in emotion based on that one quote that people are not even thinking. And it's very subliminal. And that's why sometimes we react to situations as opposed to respond, because we don't learn how to respond. And here you are talking about this and really putting the nail on top of the wood and hammering it home. You know,
But it's not taught in schools.
It's not. It's not. I remember one day, this kid, and I don't forget things because I remember things very clearly in my head as though it was a movie. I was heading home from St. George Secondary School, and this kid spit on me on the bus, right? And jumped off in Ellerton. And I leaned out the window and said, "Don't worry, I got to come school tomorrow." And man, when he showed up at the school, I leaned into him with some vicious beating. I'm not going to tell you. It's a lie, okay? Because I felt disrespected. And we went to the headmaster and I explained to the headmaster what happened. And the headmaster said, "Go on to your class. I'm going to deal with him." Right? Little light-skinned guy. And I'll tell you this, man, I never forgot that day, because it set the stage for me to understand that in every situation, perhaps I reacted, but I should have responded and taken him to school, but it wouldn't have been as satisfying for me. And some people feel that a reaction brings a lot of satisfaction, but like you're saying, it blocks your historic profile.
Correct.
It disrupts your life. And now this book is for the moment you decide your future matters more than your feelings.
100%.
Tell me about that.
Well, the feelings is momentary. You know, we feel it now. We get that instant gratification. Is that, yeah, you know, just like you felt good when you punched the hell out of him. And you're like, hey, I do my part. I got justice. But then the real justice comes later.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll see in most of my talks on my TikTok and stuff, I talk about 6 seconds can cost you 6 years. And in some cases more. You know, because of a decision that we made or a reaction that we just, turned and punched somebody. What if you punched him and he died? You punched him in the wrong place and he died. Then you would have lost a lot more. You know, so many of us, we don't think that far forward. We just think in the moment. It's like, hey, yeah, I want the satisfaction now. You know, rather than let, the judicial system take its course, or, let God show up and do what he needs to do or whatever. But, we want to take matters in our hands.
And then taking a little bit out of that book of moment, the judicial system, and I worked there for 16 years, 20 years ago. As a matter of fact, I just sat back and I said, wait a minute, this is the 20th anniversary that I've been separated from the unified court system of the state of New York. And in that moment, I realized that in the court, when you go to the court, it's not about wrong or right, it's what you can prove.
Yes.
And that's an emotional moment for a lot of people, because a lot of times there's no satisfaction when you go, because you're thinking with your heartstrings, and you're thinking, I'm going to go there and I'm going to get my satisfaction. The judge is going to see what I am saying. But and you're filled with a lot of pent up emotion, and you're sharing, and the judge will say, well, but I feel your pain, but where's the evidence? Is it evident? Is there evidence to support what you're saying or
Exactly.
doing or feeling? And you're kind of saying the same thing in a way, you know.
But the thing is,
So
your emotions only belong to you. The judge don't
exactly,
know your emotions. Yeah. And I learned that the hard way also.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
They're not living inside of
I'm
you.
crying my heart out. I'm like, hey man, these
Yeah,
people did me justice, this, that, all, but nobody cares.
I
Your
know.
emotions are yours. You own them, you gotta deal with them. You
You
gotta
have
fix them. And
you have to
you gotta
deal with
be
them.
effective. You can't pass them on, you can't share them, you can't give them away.
This sounds like something that we're gonna have to turn into a podcast. And you know what's interesting about June inside of this conversation? Here we are, two men talking, and June is also, I believe, Men's Month.
Next month, yeah.
You know, and you know, here you're saying that this friend to Darrow. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, Darrow. That's his nickname.
Darrow, my friend in TCI, who sparked this conversation by saying, damn, one can't have emotions with anything anymore.
Yeah.
Powerful statement given the current scenario. So, this book is hitting the nail on the head, like I said earlier, but it's also talking to problem solving in terms of emotion, because men have a very difficult time getting out of their way. They're already disenfranchised,
Mm-hmm.
you know, big time, you know. And I don't want to go too far afield with that, because I'm gonna let you deal with that when you do your workshop and your seminars.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and guys, as soon as Kerwin announces his first seminar or workshop, I want you to sign up and be a part of it, because I believe it's going to be a hybrid event. I want to be in the room sitting, if I'm invited.
Oh, come on, Aubrey.
Me, I like to make fun of myself. All right.
Uh,
Now, finally, to all who have tested my emotions to the max, those who borrowed and don't repay, to those who talk evil about me behind my back, to those who lied on me. I love this. There's
it's
so much,
everyone. The
huh?
good and the bad. It's the good, the bad, the ugly.
The good, the bad, the ugly. There's so much
Everyone.
synergy in this, because I want this book, like you said, to go into the prisons too, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that one of the things that I actually called up a friend of mine that I've known over 20 years, and I published one of his books for him and showed him how to go ahead and start his own publishing company. And he was in jail. He lost his citizenship and a whole bunch of different things. And he came out and with a book called We Fall Down But We Get Up. And I'm
We
going to
got
say I'm going to say his name, because I told him, it's been 20 years, come on the show. But that story is one that's going to shock you, going to shock the world,
yeah.
because I have never really told it. But anyway, to Kevin and Colette, who stood by me whilst everything played out, to all who love me and to all who hate me, man, you sound like me. I'm going to say this. I'm on the caravan with this. I am going to open up a door to do a workshop with this right here in Paulding County. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just thinking out loud, people. You know, but this is a conversation that I'm vested in, because when he's talking in his book, I realize this man is talking about my history. A lot of the things that I said, and you know, the other side of him is that letting him into my space to be a part of my Elevate Entrepreneur program room and to mentor him inside of the conversation with people that I selected that I like because I love people. I'm in the people business, you know? And to see you put this together and pull this out, this really need to be a part of the conversation inside of what we're going to do here in August for Cobb County and in terms of the Culture Fest. Because again, it comes back down to the culture of things that make you do what you do. And then I
Right.
want us to go ahead and continue doing this in a way where we can have you have your own podcast and we can have guests on and have conversations inside it, right?
Fair enough.
Emotions are powerful, but they're terrible leaders, right? Hmm,
Yep.
hmm, 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 hmm. When are you bringing up your t-shirts, man? This are
I
you
have
making?
some designed already, you know. I have some designed already. uh, actually,
Man.
tell you what, I'll probably have some ready for next month, you know.
Okay.
As my birthday is next month and I'm launching another book on my birthday, right? I'm going to be 47. And it's called 47 Years, 47 Lessons.
Wow.
Yeah. 47 years, 47 lessons.
What day in July is your birthday? Don't tell
On
me
the
July. Don't tell me July 4th.
no, on the 16th. On the
Six and
16th.
let's do a little mathematics. The one thing that we have in our life is our minds and our body.
Mm-hmm.
And if I take 16, you could not get to 16 unless you begin at 0 plus
Correct.
1. And as you go all the way down to 9 and you roll over, you go back to 1 again and come back down in the second column, which is the unit. What did we call it in school? Unit tens. That's the 10th line,
Same thing.
right? Right?
Mm.
So here we now going over to 10 and coming down to 16. And then we look at 16 and add it up and say 6 and 1 is 7. And then we look at the growth stages of humankind and we say by the time you was 21, you was a big man. And then, you know, the government changed it to 18. Nobody asked the question, but it becomes 9, you know, and then we're in that growth spurt in that column. So the first growth spurt is 7.
Mm-hmm.
So here you are talking about the one well-defined thing that I ask people to do inside of module 1 is to define who you are, which is an emotional moment for a lot of people, you know. So when you say emotions are powerful, but they're terrible leaders is a powerful statement. You know, hey guys, you got to get this book because this is a conversation I'm having here with Kerwin. This is the world premiere opportunity for you to join us, you know, and to have this conversation with us because this is what we're talking about. You, the most important human capital value in the world is you. You have your mind, your body, and your mind and your body have a reciprocal relationship, just like 16 does when it is added up into from 6 and 1 is 7.
Mm-hmm.
And here you are thinking, how do I do A, B, C, or D? It's an emotional moment. And now you're challenged again with another emotional moment called artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
How do you navigate that? So if emotions are powerful, you know, let's look at it. Emotions were designed to alert you, not to lead you. Hello,
Yep.
alert,
Alert.
alert, right? Alert. Fear is supposed to warn you of danger, not stop you from every opportunity.
Yep.
Man, Herbert Harris, are you listening to this, man? Herbert Harris, powerful guy. I want you guys to team up and have a conversation
No problem.
because those are the kind of things that we are talking about. You know, the other thing that I'm going to do is get myself a glass of wine and continue to read what you're talking about because this is some amazing stuff. So when do you propose to start your workshops and your seminars for this book?
I would love to start actually in October. If I can do before that, sure. I just
Okay,
have challenges where work is concerned at the moment. So once I get the time that I can do it, yeah.
take the time or make the time or do some pop-ups. You
Yeah.
know, Chapter 12, detachment. Caring without losing control? Let's talk about that, because I'm guilty sometimes. You hear me?
So often we make the decisions, or sometimes we allow things to happen, and rather than deal with it at the same time, what we do, we let it fester and we let it bother us. Okay, so I'm talking in terms of not just how should I say this? Because I myself, let's talk about me, because this is me. People have done me things, and I've gone to that point where, yeah, I'm emotionally disciplined and so forth. So therefore, I allow things to happen, allow it, and then it builds up to that point where then I get tired and frustrated, and then I react. So what I'm talking about now is, don't let it get to that point where it builds up. Okay, you can deal with it, in stages, and as it happens, so that you don't get overwhelmed or frustrated to that point where you're forced to react. Again, it goes back to the pause method. Something happens. What do? Red light, amber light, green light. You got the pause. Stop, assess the situation, really understand what it is, because often some people tell us things, or they say things, or they do things, but it's not the intention. And for us, we have to seek to understand where they're coming from or the reason why. So that when we actually select what the option is, because we have a list of options that we can go through. When we actually select that option, then we can say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Now we're going to execute. So when you execute, you're making a better informed decision rather than just reacting in the moment or letting it build up to that point where you are so under pressure that you react immediately and make the wrong decision.
There you go. You see that? And again, it comes down to that one word, discipline.
Yeah.
The discipline of emotion. I can't wait to wear this t-shirt, and I can't wait to continue in this conversation. I think we've got a good start. What do you think?
I think we're off to a great start.
Yeah. We're off to a great start. And I can't wait to join you on stage and be a part of this conversation, because emotional high, a friend of mine wrote a song based on that. And Jeff Timmons from 98 Degrees, actually.
Yeah.
And I had an interview with him. He was going through a lot of stuff, and this is a while ago. And things that happen in my life happen so organically that I feel very blessed about it. And I want people to come together to know that we have to work more cohesively.
Yeah.
Because when he was going through what he was going through, a lot of people have heard about that band. It's back. The band is back together now, actually. 98 Degrees.
Okay, that's good.
And the interest, yeah. And I called him up and I said, man, when I go into Barbados, are you going to come down and do some performance? He said, just let me know when, bro.
Yeah.
So I haven't been to Barbados because from 2016 until now, I've been going through a very powerful roller coaster of emotions. Because when my daughter died, she passed away. That was an abrupt interruption and a very unpleasant commencement ceremony in my life. And we experience these things each and every day. Someone dies here, someone dies over there. So let me ask you one question. What is the key to discipline your emotion in your own personal opinion? How do you feel about managing that part of your life?
First is about acknowledging the fact that, hey, I react. You got to acknowledge that fact first. And then we have to put things in place, okay, strategically, and consistently, because many times we set New Year resolutions, and New Year resolution, we set it the 31st of December or just before or January 1st. And I'm telling you, by February, most of them are out the door, And I have been writing books for years. I wrote songs, I wrote books, and I've had them sitting on my computer doing nothing. I have them on hard drives, and my New Year's resolution in December was to get books published. I mean, I have hundreds of them, but right now, to date, I have about 16 or 17 that are published already. Okay. And One moment, someone is at the door. Yeah. So I have these like 16 or 17 published. And I mean, I feel good because I actually follow through to hit my resolution. And with the discipline of emotion, this is what it comes back to, being disciplined and saying, hey, set something in motion. This is what I want to do. And make sure that you follow through and do it. Like every day, do something. You want to lose weight? Every day, go to the gym. Every day, put in the work. Every day, it's just starting with one step. Like I watched this movie with Rocky, the last part also. One round at a time, one step at a time, one move at a time, one punch at a time. It's just one. Power of one. We always talk
Power
about
of one.
one. It just takes one.
And
One
that's why,
step,
yes,
one,
yes,
every time, one.
yes. Remember that, because you heard me say I believe in the power of one many, many times.
Yep.
And in the room, a lot of people are quiet, but you're talking. You're one of maybe 5 to 7 people who talk. And here we are in the commencement ceremony where I really want you to rock and roll and achieve. And I want people to understand that Kerwin Boxill matters. And matters not because of Kerwin Boxill alone, because you're a self and others kind of guy. You have such a passion and emotion for people, and you're asking them, please stop reacting.
Yeah.
Respond.
It's
Right?
costing you.
It's costing you too much. So how can people find out more about who you are and what you do? You have a website, social media, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I have a website. It's www.kerwinboxill.com. I'm also on Facebook. You'll find me there as Bajan Duflicky. I know you're going to laugh there. That was my nickname growing up, And if you do the evaluation of the slang for Barbados and Bajan dialect, Bajan is the slang for Barbadian, right? And Duflicky is special event. So I'm a Barbadian special event.
You're going to the Duflicky. What was that Duflicky? What was that Duflicky that we went to again?
Exactly.
So, join Kerwin.
Huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, because I see myself as an ambassador of Barbados. No matter where I live, no matter where I go, I always represent. And I mean, yeah, so I've never changed that name or whatever. I use it, throughout.
Yeah.
But also I'm on TikTok. I recently discovered TikTok. I hated TikTok for years, but then one of my coworkers said to me, hey man, you can do this, and I said, okay. So I started posting some quotes from the book and some of the titles and so forth on TikTok. So I've been having a good following so far. Yeah. And I'm on Instagram again, I see all these social media things for the young people. I really focus on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn also with my full name, Kerwin Boxill. Yeah.
And then you have what, KerwinBoxill.com?
Yes, KerwinBoxill.com.
KerwinBoxill.com. So thank you for joining us. And
people want to follow my blog also. I have a blog that is blog.kerwinboxill.biz.
That biz. You see, I said that in the first one, I think it was the first show that I did, because this is a 10 episode edition of Straight Talk and Motivation. And I did that on purpose as Straight Talk and Motivation Reloaded, because I'm reloading the emotional moments inside of who I am.
Okay.
And I love the whole idea behind the responsive thing, because I've had to do a lot of responding as opposed to reacting. And one of the things that I learned about being a response person is that God joins you in the conversation more briskly.
Oh, yeah.
When you're a responder, God will join you more fervently, be more present, and allow you to know that He's in the room. And I use the term He as a descriptive form, because God is neither He or She. It's universal prime force and prime energy that controls the universe and lives outside time and space. And the connectivity that you are given to connect to God is your mind. That's the only thing that can leave your body momentarily, that you don't even realize you're out of touch with your physicality. Real talk, straight talk, right here, live on cardvoiceradio.org. One of the most catastrophic things that happened to me was back in September years ago when the World Trade Center fell. I didn't even know what emotion was like. I was just very reactive in the initial moments, but then I began to recognize you have to learn how to respond inside of this moment because it will help you get through whatever you're going through. And it manages your emotions for you as opposed to being reactive. Because when you're reactive, you're stumbling upon and through a lot of emotional displeasures and causing problems, stepping outside of your personal portion of responsibility. And we have to be mindful of that. So thank you for joining us, and we'll continue this conversation. I think I'm about to lose my voice. No, I'm not.
Well, one other thing before you go, I just want people to know the book is also translated to Spanish.
Mm.
Okay. And it's also available in Audible and digital format.
Okay. And you speak Spanish, you said, right?
I try.
You tried? Okay.
Yeah, I paid someone to do the translation for me.
Okay. All right. So, any final words before we go?
Well, calm wins, Don't be too uptight and fly off the handle.
There you
And
go.
that's
Calm
calm.
wins.
Calm
Calm
wins.
wins.
I
All
actually
right.
have a song. I wrote the song, but then I got AI to do the beat and rhythm. So it's all calm wins, calm wins. I should have sent it to you so you can play it,
Hey, maybe send it to me and I'll play it at some point
Yeah, man, no
in the
problem.
show.
Yeah, for
All right.
sure.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Believe it.